that he's trying to do any of those things. And so we're now seeing that, okay, maybe this is about AI for him. Maybe this is about data collection for him. Maybe this is about him wanting to be the first person and getting a leg into federal governments so that he can do things that are on a larger scale in terms of artificial intelligence. I don't know the answer to that, and not knowing the answer to that made me uncomfortable when people did what we always speak against, which is essentially turn him into a celebrity, that worship him like he's Taylor Swift. And
hey, Candace, maybe, just maybe, you should have questioned Trump during the campaign on why he's developing this close relationship with Elon Musk if you don't agree with half of his lifestyle, with half of his decisions as a billionaire, almost trillionaire. Maybe you should have asked those questions before the election. Hey, guess what? You're an idiot. That simple. Hey, guess what? It's too late. You can't get your money back. So you want to know why I call a lot of people who voted for Trump? Okay, it might be a little less than what I think. Like, I believe maybe 70-ish% of people who voted for Trump are these idiots that I'm going to be referring to. Like, these individuals are the ones who voted for Trump. Okay, check this out. See, try to figure out the logic. They voted for Trump. Okay, not asking about policy. No. I'm voting for Trump. Okay, and then after he wins, check this out. Then they start asking questions. Then they start complaining about like some of the decisions he's making, some of the comments he's making. Now they're asking questions. Now they're upset because he's saying X, Y, and Z, or he's agreeing with, these individuals instead of them. I don't understand that. That's literally the idiocy that's running rampant in the Republican Party. I mean, it could be the lack of a high school diploma. I don't know. The lack of information, probably so. It's like, who buys a car without test driving it or getting the car history? Like, you're taking a really big leap of faith purchasing that car, and you're not asking the questions you need to ask or test driving it. Who marries an individual without like getting to know them? Like having that basic conversation, like, hey, who are you? Who's your family? Like what kind of movies do you like? What's your favorite color? DC or Marvel? And if they say DC, you don't marry them. That's just a heads up right there. Or like, who applies to work at a company? Okay, check this out. See how crazy this sounds. Who applies to a company and has no idea what the job functions are or the job duties? Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. And then when people like myself call you an idiot, you get defensive. Hey, well, that's what we're going to get into. Let's have that conversation. All right, so I got a question for you. Do you value your privacy and your security? And especially with all your information being accessible to anyone and everyone on the internet? Well, I'm excited to bring to you today's sponsor of this video, Aura. There was approximately 800,000 reports of identity theft in the first 3 quarters of 2024 alone. Credit card fraud remains the most prevalent form of identity theft, with about 300,000 cases reported. And the United States continues to experience numerous of data breaches throughout various industries, compromising your financial and personal information, just like millions across America. Aura is the all-in-one digital security solution that protects your identity, finances, and personal information online. With Aura, you get real-time alerts for suspicious activity, VPN protection to keep your browsing private, and even dark web monitoring just to see if your information is out there where it shouldn't be. So once again, stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches. Click the sponsor link down below to get 14 days free to see if your information, your data has been exposed. Back to the video. So we're going to be talking about Candace Owens getting her behind handed to her by Mikhaila Peterson, which is Jordan Peterson's daughter, which this is my first exposure to her. Like, she sounds sane-ish. Like, I don't understand how her dad is Jordan Peterson, because okay, a little cuckoo, I get it. But the conversation they're having here explains what I said at the top of this video. Like, why is Candace now asking these questions or now having some concern? And the proof was right there the entire campaign time. Like, hey, hello, pay attention. But, hey, let's take a listen.
The so-called Maga civil war over visas for skilled workers has put some Trump supporters on an unusual collision course with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. The latter criticised US attitudes and work ethics, saying a culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. Well, this was Steve Bannon's response.
I've said many times that Elon came and Elon's money helped organize the grassroots effort. In his engineering mind, he saw what the problem was as we saw it.
That's the problem. That's problem number one, which is going to be a reoccurring theme, I think, for the next 4 years. Like, problem number one, you took the money. Okay, you took the money, and like I told you in previous videos, when you go to prison, I've never been in prison, this is just what I heard. When you go to prison and you see a piece of chocolate on your pillow, don't take the chocolate, because you're going to end up paying, and you may not want to know how you're going to pay for that. Okay? So once again, the Republicans took the candy. They took the chocolate off the pillow. Let's take a listen.
And he supported it. And for that, he gets a place at the table. There's no doubt. We love converts. But the converts sit in the back and study for years and years and years to make sure you understand the faith and you understand the nuances of the faith and understand how you can internalize the faith. Don't come up and go to the pulpit in your first week here and start lecturing people about the way things are going to be. If you're going to do that, we're going to rip your face off.
Whoa, Candace. Hey, how are you going to defend that? How are you going to defend that? Hey, you're going to be just as amazed as I am, okay?
Wow. Well, it's not just a battle of the bros. Two influential voices on the right, Mikhaila Peterson and Candace Owens, traded barbs on this issue too. Peterson said, why did the woke right pretend it was illegal immigration they were against when it turned out it was immigration in general? At least be honest about it. If there's assimilation into the culture and legal immigration, what is the problem other than the skin colour? To which Candace Owens replied, Jordan Peterson's daughter thinks the visa debate comes down to Americans being upset about immigrant skin colour, lol, and the nerve to call the right woke as she makes it about race.
Which is weird. I think she got mad because the word woke, which in my opinion means nothing. Okay, it means whatever you want it to be. But she got offended because Mikhaila called the MAGA woke. And to them, that's like calling them the worst slur word you can ever think of, okay? And just to give you my quick analysis on the topic, I said this in like 3 or 4 videos. The Republicans who are complaining about this, they don't care about the H-1B visas. They probably don't even know what that is. And they could care less about the problems of which that visa implements on the individuals receiving those visas. Being paid less, being overworked, and using that as, leverage over the individuals, because if they lose their visas, they get sent back home. And of course, they don't want to do that because they came over here for a reason. They don't care about that. Once again, don't let them fool you with the, oh no, that's the problem because of blah, blah, blah. No. Just like Laura Loomer, who doesn't care, this is Trump's right-hand man, she said she ain't playing that. She's not going to pretend for us. She let us know how she felt about that. And they don't want brown folks coming into this country, no matter how smart they are, no matter how intelligent or what they can provide to America. They don't want that brown person in this country. That's simple. Once again, don't let them fool you on anything else.
2025 is going to be so much fun. Well, indeed it is, because I'm now going to bring these two together. Candace Owens, host of the Candace podcast, and Mikhaila Peterson, co-founder of Peterson Academy, both join me now. Welcome to both of you. Happy New Year to both of you. And Candace, you said it was going to be fun this year. Here we go. What was your big objection to what Mikhaila said?
Well, first and foremost, just to be someone that's so new in this country and then to immediately castigate or to cast aside everybody that's in here and say, well, guess what? You're just a bunch of racists. You don't like brown skin, while at the same time referring to us as woke, was just mind boggling to me. Just as Dee Bannon said, it means that she hasn't spent the time to understand who and what the American people are, what the MAGA movement is, and why they have concerns about this program.
Okay, whoa. She's a fast talker, so we're going to have to just slow this down real quick. First off, Candace, what qualifications do you need to be able to speak about America and the decisions or the topics or the conversations that we're having? Is it a year within America, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because we have Vivek Ramaswamy, who this is his first generation of being American. So like, does he not count? I mean, once again, what's the qualifications? Because I need to know. Second off, why couldn't Mikhaila have read? Like she can read the history of America. She can learn the ins and outs of the political parties and what they mean for and what they stand for. I mean, she has 2 eyes and 2 ears, so she can easily just listen to what individuals are saying, just like yourself. And if it sounds stupid, if it sounds questionable, why can't she just say, hey, that sounds a little racist? I'm just saying, it doesn't take a political scientist to understand when something is racist. I think that's pretty simple. But of course, like, they're going to say, hey, you just don't know enough. Hey, you're not American, so you don't know. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of Americans that's been complaining about the same stuff for decades. So once again, is she wrong? Don't think so.
And so to make sure that everybody around the world understands why this is such a big debate, the H-1B visa program is essentially a foreign worker visa that allows employers to hire workers into, quote unquote, specialty programs, essentially for people who have some sort of a specialized knowledge. But to be clear, the program has been around since 1990, so the results aren't up for debate. We were just simply lied to about what we were told it was going to do, which was to source the top 1% of talent globally. Instead, they're using the program to source cashiers, teachers, janitors, PR people. So I'm going to have to believe that the American people are very much capable and willing to fulfill those positions, and that instead this program has been completely abused to get foreign workers here who then have a pathway to citizenship, and it lowers worker wages and it's harming the American people. So I am not fond of it.
Hey, now, if that was the actual conversation, hey, guess what? Democrats have been saying that, or at least the progressive ones have been saying that for years. Oh my God, just look it up. That's been a talking point when it comes to these visas. Not that we don't want immigrants in, it's just that they get exploited by these companies too easily. And this has been an ongoing since 1988, I believe. It's been an ongoing situation. So, hey, Candace, you're not saying nothing new that the Progressive Party hasn't been already saying. And 2, this is only a conversation because Elon Musk appointed an Indian individual who's highly qualified to fill a cabinet spot in Trump's administration. That's what sparked the whole entire conversation. Not because if he's not qualified or did he take a position from an American. No, because he's Indian. And if you listen to individuals like Laura Loomer, who once again is Trump's right-hand woman. She's flown with Trump on his private jets and been at just about every rally that he has been for the past 8 years. She's not a random person on Twitter just saying racist things. No. She let people know how MAGA is feeling, and they don't want brown people taking American jobs. Once again, listen to the base and not people who are just trying to save face. No, it doesn't work. We see straight through the BS.
And I'll add here that prior to his passing, Lou Dobbs of Fox News looked into the program, and he determined that 7 out of the 10 H-1B positions were being outsourced from Indian corporations to American corporations. So it's not globally looking at the 1%. And 5 of those 7 positions were category 1, which essentially just means that they didn't require any specialized knowledge. These are the janitors, these are the teachers, and they are just taking jobs away from the American people. So I just found her referring to this as an issue with being brown, or Americans having an issue with brown people, to be almost comical, to be honest. And I'd love to hear her further explain that position.
Okay, well, we're now going to hear it. Mikhaila, over to you.
So I don't know, Candace, if you're seeing what I'm seeing on X, but when I saw the H-1B debate going around, mostly what I saw was racism against Indians specifically. And I'm not saying there isn't a problem with the visa issue in the States in general. Getting top talent here is very difficult. Like, I had a very difficult time getting in, and I'm married to an American, and it was long and annoying, and they don't have a proper way to test people. So there's plenty of flaws to talk about. But I think right before the inauguration, having conservatives argue like amongst ourselves about an H-1B visa issue when we have an open border is silly, especially when it does kind of dredge up what I called the woke right on X. And I know you've scoffed at the term the woke right, but it encompasses these people that are focused on anti-Semitism, Jews, and they're pro-America, but their idea of America is this white America, similar to, I guess, what everyone's been arguing about for the last 200 years whenever anybody new comes into the country.
Hey, she makes a good point. Yes, MAGA is pro-America. You see them out there with the flags and acting all patriotic and, singing the national anthem every 2 seconds that they can. They are proud to be American, where at least I know I'm free. Like, yeah, that's their ringtone, okay? Like, when you call them and it goes to voicemail, that's what you're hearing. That's how patriotic they are. But the catch is, it's not the America you belong in. I'm sorry, Candace Owens. You do not fit their definition of patriotic. You do not fit their version of American. And it's simple. It's not complicated. Some things you don't need a degree to understand. Some things you don't need to be so deeply invested in to understand that they just don't want you because you're brown, because you're black, because you're non-white. Read history books. Oh my God, this is not something new that we're just now thinking about and talking about. This is literally day one of American. Day one. Americans been A1 since day one. You know what I'm saying? This is American. But of course, when you're getting paid to defend a position, like, you don't care about reality, you don't care about history, you don't care about facts and data. You just have a job to do. And that's one thing Candace is good at doing.
And I do think it has to do with race. And I think you can see that from comments on Twitter. I mean, Vivek put up a picture. I don't know if you saw it. It wasn't Vivek. It was this horrible woman on Twitter. What's her name? Something Lupus. She's a doctor. She goes, "Oh, what do you guys think about this? Thoughts?" And it's a picture of Vivek and his brown family. And one of the most interacted with comments was subversive brown poop eating parasites. And that's what flooded my feed. And I think,
hey, and once again, she's talking about, I don't want to say a random person, but when that is carried, when that kind of energy is carried to an individual like a Nick Fuentes who was having dinner with Trump, Nick Fuentes that was celebrating and drinking champagne with a Laura Loomer, when those individuals are being even more racist. I don't even want to talk about the crazy comments they were making about Indian people. It is disgusting. But these are the same individuals who is literally hanging around Trump, not figuratively, like literally having dinner and flying around and being like guests at his events. Hello, guys. This is not some random people on Twitter. These are Trump's friends. So come on now.
I had some irritation because I'm, aligning with conservatives because the woke left has been a disaster for America and for Canada and for the West for years. And it's just frustrating to see them go at each other over something like an H-1B when there are bigger issues like an open border. And I think people are misunderstanding the H-1B, although it does have its issues as well. There's also the H-2B, which nobody knows about, and that's for people who are paid lower. The average wage for an H-1B visa is $118K. So there was all this talk on Twitter about how these people are underpaid and everything. $118K is pretty good. Companies, I don't think most companies,
once again, I covered a video talking about that. Don't know where she's sourcing her information. I would love to know, but
especially tech companies, are hiring H-1Bs to become more successful, to make more money. You're not making more money by getting H-1B visas in. You're making more money by having a successful company, by hiring top talent. So I don't think we're completely not aligned entirely, because I agree the visa process in America is ridiculous. And it doesn't test people, like I said, properly. But I think it's silly to fracture the Conservative Party by arguing about 85,000 H-1B visas when we have an open border. And I don't like the racism.
Okay.
Once again, she's a Republican, so she's trying to split hairs. She's trying to be like an Albert Einstein and split atoms. I don't know if Albert Einstein split atoms, but hey, she's trying so hard to be I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, and I don't like the racism. Okay, got you. Guess what? Hey, I don't like the racism either. But you do know, okay, I don't know where you've been past 8 years, but Trump has built his base based off of racism. So, I mean, when you grow an apple tree, you get apples. When you grow an orange tree, you get oranges. I'm just saying, when you build a base based off of racism and misogyny and anti-Semitism, like the whole nine, what do you expect to get? Kindness and love and joy and peace and faithfulness and gentleness? Come on, hey, that's basic information there. But, hey, gotta do what you gotta do to get that money, right?
Candace, I mean, do you see common ground there in what you just heard from Mikhaila? And what do you also feel about the fact that for Steve Bannon and the diehard Maga group, they look at this as a betrayal when they see Vivek and Elon and now Trump as well, all piling in, enthusiastically supporting this? They say, well, hang on, that's not about making America great again. They're not buying into, we need to get all these brilliant people coming here. They think it's a system that's being abused and that it goes against the spirit of MAGA. So you're seeing a real interesting debate raging about the heart of what MAGA really means.
I think Steve Bannon fully has his finger on the pulse there, so he's completely right. And just to respond to the point about seeing racist comments on Twitter, I've heard this argument a lot of times from people where they'll suddenly pretend that if you take a position of something and they can find a racist comment beneath it, then you're on the side of the racist.
That's not what I'm doing.
That's just called Well, I'm just saying that literally since the day that I started my accounts on Instagram, I've been called the N-word from the left and the right. It's just welcome to the internet. Doesn't mean that these are the positions that are represented. In fact, this conversation that we're having is something that I would almost refer to as MAGA 101. This is like a freshman year class in MAGA college. I've been hearing this debate, have spoken about this debate on stage. I mean, I've spoken at more than 100 universities. And to be frank with you, because I came over from the left, when I first got into this movement, I thought the same thing. I thought, okay, well, I don't understand what the issue is if it's legal migration. But I then listened to people and I wanted to understand where people were coming from. And I opened my mind to what they were saying and realized that they were very much correct. And I think that's sort of where you get into trouble with the MAGA movement, when you just instantly sweep away and condemn everyone and say, well, some people were saying racist stuff about Indians, and so this entire argument now is based on racism. It simply isn't,
Hey, let me clear my throat, okay? What she is saying could be an interesting conversation. Like, I mean, it's kind of simple. Like, you don't take every random person on the internet seriously. Hey, I get that. Yeah. But once again, and this is why I need to be on these panels, but I'll probably get kicked off because I ain't got no time to be sitting here jucking and jiving with idiots, okay? It'll probably be my first and last time because I don't play that, okay? Homie, don't play that. But what she's saying is cool, but when the most racist person is on the internet talking about Indian people and how they don't care about no H1B1. They just don't want no brown folks over here. Like Laura Loomer, I'm going to keep saying that. This individual is Trump's best friend. Having dinner in the whole nine. Look it up. It's not hard to find. That is the problem, is when the president of the United States is hanging around on purpose in broad daylight, ain't hiding nothing, being kicked off every social media you can think of, except for X, because now she was brought back on, but then got censored by Elon Musk, which is a weird conversation. But how do you explain that? Because if Trump doesn't represent those things, then why is he being around these types of individuals? If I found out that Bernie Sanders was hanging around racist individuals like that, trust me, we're going to have some problems. I don't care what you got to say. If your best friend don't like brown people, don't like black folks, and making all these racist statements, hey, Bernie Sanders, we're going to have a problem. Simple. But hey, Candace Owens is making that money today.
Vivek, I personally stumped for Vivek. So if you think that I'm going to be on board with people being racist for him when I went on the ground with him all throughout Iowa when he was running for president, of course not. I'm also brown myself. But I understand that this has nothing to do with the merits of the arguments that are being presented here. And it is just a fact that the H-1B visa, the majority of the people that are coming into this country are not coming in with any extraordinary skills, are not coming in because...
Okay, so is this the same Vivek where he was on a podcast, a very famous podcast from a Republican, and she said, she made a real racist black joke, but that's not the point of this conversation. But she said, hey, Vivek, I agree with you 90% of the time when you were at these debates and you just smashed it and crushed it. I agree with you, but I'm not going to vote for you because you're Indian. No. She said, I'm not going to vote for you because you're a Indian. That's literally what she said. And Candace, this is the party you're defending. She's making it seem like it's not like, it's just like the lower level of the crazy MAGAs that's being racist. Vivek went onto this interview for a reason, not some random person on TikTok who's racist. No. Why would Vivek, a millionaire, almost a billionaire, waste his time with a random person on TikTok? No, he went onto this interview for a reason. And he had to sit there and smile through the racism. Patrick Bet-David, this whole entire time defending Trump and MAGA. And when he said, hey, the H-1B1 visas, X, Y, and Z. And you know what they told him? The founding fathers of America are not your founding fathers. Hey, hint, hint. Because Patrick Bet Davis is not American. He's Pakistan, I believe. Hey, guess what? You're a little brown. We don't want you around. That's simple. But yet, they got to make that money, I guess. All right,
because
cool.
they're part of the 1%. It is being completely abused and jobs are being taken away from the American people. Now, Piers, to your point about the MAGA rift, I'm glad to see it. I very much agree with Steve Bannon. I mean, the last estimate that was done, by the way, and this speaks to Mikhaila, you saying it's just 85,000 people that are allowed annually. Well, the last estimate that was done in 2019 approximated that 600,000 foreign nationals were here on this visa program, all of them being provided with a pathway to citizenship that doesn't include.
First off, she's conflating all the visas. There's more than just the H-1B or the H-2B. There's dozens of visas that people, immigrants can get into the country, get into America legally. Like, it's a broad, it's a lot of them. Okay. So once again, I need to see the number she's looking at. When I looked it up, it's a bunch of ways to get into here. So, yeah, whatever.
In 2 years, you can then get out of that program and become a permanent resident. Okay, so that they're allowed to stay in this country from up to 6 years. They don't apply for permanent residency, of course.
Yes, some visas. Come on now.
We can assume that the majority of them do, and they're allowed to stay up to 10 years if they go to work for the Department of Defense. Again, all of these applicants have a pathway to citizenship. So you just imagine you're like, yeah, I just went to work in America as a teacher for a couple of years and I became a citizen, or as a janitor for a couple of years and I became a citizen. It's not okay. And I want to be clear, all across the board, it's not just the H-1B. There's a ton of visa programs that are being routinely abused. And like I said, I have faith in the American people. I think that the American people can fulfill those positions. I know they can fulfill those positions. And so I am not on the side of Elon Musk and Trump in this debate. And I think that, Elon Musk has been at Mar-a-Lago for a bit too long and thinks that that is the sample of what MAGA is, and it simply isn't. Steve Bannon has been on.
Elon Musk has been at the White House for way too long. Hey, Candace Owens. Hey, guess what? Until you pay or you input into the campaign over $270 million, you got to just shut up and take it. Who's going to listen to you? No. The person who paid the money gets any seat that they want, especially when they paid that type of dollar, when they bought a media platform just to send out propaganda for Trump, giving sweepstakes saying, hey, you get to win $1 million if you register to vote. Hey, that person gets to choose what table and what seat everybody else is sitting on. Like I'm saying, Trump took the chocolate off the pillow, and guess what? That's why Trump is siding with him. Not because Trump cares about some. Trust me, he's abused that visa too. Look it up. But Trump took the chocolate off the pillow. So guess what? He knows where he needs to be siding, where the money's at. So Candace Owens, they don't care about what you got to say because you're not putting up that kind of money. Hey, money talks.
On the ground and spoken to those people for years. He understands what they're saying, and it would be gracious for Elon Musk to kind of step down and recognize that he's simply wrong in this debate.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you actually posted to me on X, of course, owned by Elon Musk. You said, we'll have to get together in the new year so you can let me finish what I was going to say about Elon Musk. A lot has happened since I didn't finish that sentence. Exciting dialogue awaits. And we did leave people on a slight cliffhanger about Elon Musk. So now's your chance to finish that sentence, and then I'll get Mikhaila to respond. But I mean, Musk he's everywhere right now, literally poking his head into every country, it seems, in the world, particularly my country, where he's just in the last 2 days, he's called for the king to dissolve parliament, which he can't actually do. Mm-hmm. He's called for Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, to be imprisoned. He's hammered a previous Prime Minister, Gordon Brown. He's called another senior member of the cabinet here, an evil woman, Jess Phillips, who's been waging a rape genocide apology tour, I think is how he put it. I mean, this is inflammatory, incendiary stuff. What do you think his game plan is here?
I mean, it's kind of weird because just a few weeks ago, Piers was glazing the hell out of Elon Musk. But guess what? This is the problem when you give someone an unlimited amount of money, being able to buy whatever they want. And they're uneducated and they don't care about educating themselves. You give them a lot of power. You give them a lot of freedom of speech to where now you're like, why is he speaking about this? Hey, Piers, this is your fault because you normalized this. You sane washed people like Elon Musk who have money you try to be buddy with. But when they say something that you're against, oh, why is he doing this? Why does he have the ability to do it? Hey, thank you, Piers. This is your fault.
Well, that was what I was going to say to you. And for people that haven't watched it, we were able to sit down and speak about a variety of issues, but we did disagree on Elon Musk. You said that he was a superhero, and I didn't say that he hadn't done superheroic things. You know, I thought that he was going to rescue speech on X, even that's up for debate now, given the H-1B visa debate. But I was never keen on him essentially buying a seat at the table, which is what he's done, because we don't know what Elon Musk believes. You know, I am a Christian conservative. Elon Musk, of course, is going to be at odds with me and my beliefs because he wants to put brain chips in people's minds. He wants to go to Mars. You know, these things conflict with me theologically, you know.
Really, Candace? Hey, guess what? Maybe you should have confronted Trump when he was taking all this money, all this publicity, taking Elon Musk to all these events and having him as a guest speaker and blah, 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 and making him the head of Doge, whatever. Like, you didn't have a problem then. I mean, it's kind of crazy now that Donald Trump is already elected. Donald Trump is going to follow the money because, like I said, when you take the money, hey, guess what? Now you serve that individual. I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? Something that progressives have been saying since day one. Money is influencing politicians, and politicians are not going to listen to the will of the people. They're going to listen to their donors. They're going to listen to the individual that donated or given $270 million. Once again, Trump, you don't have enough money to be heard. I'm sorry, Candace. You're talking broke people. Okay, you're trying to talk about your positions in Christianity and blah blah blah. Hey, guess what? How much money are you putting up? Oh, guess what? It's not enough money. So guess what? The person who has the most money gets the seat at the table. That's the American or the America that you wanted. You wanted America to be ran like a business. Guess what? This is what happens to these type of situations. If you don't have enough money, no one cares what you got to say. Dang, it feels so good that they get a taste of how the country that they wanted to see, the country that they wanted to live in, is now turning against them. Oh, I didn't want Elon Musk to. Who cares? Put more money than that, and you get a seat at the table.
I think he's a transhumanist. What are his perspectives on marriage? He's had how many different women? I think he has up to 13 different children. What is Elon Musk's endgame? And we have not seen people interview him fairly. They're either incredibly hostile to him, like you saw with Don Lemon, or they're too friendly to him, and which they just see him as a superhero. And I would actually like to see someone sit down and flesh out what Elon Musk actually believes. What is his goal? What is he trying to contribute? Because I don't think you can say that you are a conservative if you are not ultimately trying to conserve the nuclear family unit. And I don't think that he's trying to do any of those things. And so we're now seeing that, okay, maybe this is about AI for him. Maybe this is about data collection for him. Maybe this is about him wanting to be the first person and getting a leg into federal governments so that he can do things that are on a larger scale in terms of artificial intelligence. I don't know the answer to that. And not knowing the answer to that made me uncomfortable when people did what we always speak against, which is essentially turn him into a celebrity, that worship him like he's Taylor Swift. And
hey, Candace, maybe, just maybe, you should have questioned Trump during the campaign on why he's developing this close relationship with Elon Musk if you don't agree with half of his lifestyle, with half of his decisions as a billionaire, almost trillionaire. Maybe you should have asked those questions before the election. Hey, guess what? You're an idiot. That simple. Hey, guess what? It's too late. You can't get your money back. That's not how this works. That's not how voting and democracy works. Oh, he's doing all these things I don't like. Guess what? It is too late. You're asking these questions when he's already in the government. You should have asked before. But no, when the system is working for you, everything is all sunshines and rainbows, huh? The sun is out, everything is perfect, peachy perfect. But now Trump and Elon are doing things you don't agree with now. That doesn't align with your perspective of America. Now you want to ask these questions. Now you want to bring up these things that you don't like about Elon Musk. Hey, Candace Owens, cry me a river. Cry me a big, beautiful river that I will swim in. I'm going to do a double backflip with a twist, heel kick dive into that river. I don't know what that is. I just made that up, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's simple. But hey, this is what we're going to get in. This is what America has turned into, is just whoever is the highest bidder gets what they want. And Republicans day and night been crying about they want America to be ran like a business. Well, this is what they get. This is what they get, because in a business, in capitalism, those who make the decisions have the most money. And Candace, I don't think you got pockets like that. I don't think your bank account is big enough. You remember the game Big Bank Takes Little Bank? You know, whoever has the most money takes the person who has the least money. Hey, Candace Owens, you're going to lose that game against Elon Musk 10 out of 10 times. That's simple. But if you agree or you disagree with anything I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below, or hit that Discord button so me and you can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.